Hi guys! So I'm back. I'm gonna try to take as many new videos as I possibly can. This is my look for today, and I'm really excited to share with you some of my favorite go-to products and just all around, just you'll see how much of a mess I am. Okay, so I started off priming my skin with this Purley's matcha green tea antioxidant priming moisturizer. I do really like this. I feel like it's very hydrating. However, I think I put a little bit too much on it because I started noticing like kind of like, you know, peeling or not like pilling like around my chin. So I might have gone a little bit too ham on this, but we'll see how it works with the rest of my makeup that I'm going to be doing. So the first thing that I'm going to try to correct is my under eye situation. I have really like dark under eyes, so I use this Becca under eye brightening corrector, and I'm just gonna use my finger. Now that I have that corrected, I am gonna go in with a foundation. So I have been using this foundation. I'm not gonna show you how ugly it is on the inside because I've been using this for a while, but it is the Pixi by Petra Flawless Vitamin Veil, and I really like this. It's a very thin kind of foundation, so I never feel that it's too thick. The coverage is very light also, which I do kind of prefer that sometimes. So as you can see, it really just, once you start to really blend it in, you'll be able to kind of tell that it's really, really light coverage, but I do kind of need that sometimes. And then I do go in after I apply it all with a beauty blender just to kind of buff out any harshness. Okay, so then I have this LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is actually like the cheapest concealer that I've ever found, and it works really well. It is a little bit darker than my foundation, but my foundation is like a little bit too light, so this is gonna kind of just give my color, give color back into my skin. So you'll see that I will put in what I think I need. And then I do have a separate concealing sponge that I got from a Lure box a while ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this, let me make sure it's not too wet. So I'm just going to blend this in. Okay, so now that I have all of my creams in, I am gonna go in with my powders. And I don't really have too many powders that I like to use, but I have been using this one, and it is Be a Light by Becca Cosmetics, and it's the light to medium face palette. So I like this because, don't look at the crusty mirror, it has kind of like a setting powder, but it's also very glowy, and then it has a blush and bronzer and kind of like a shade that kind of warms up your skin, which I do use as like a bronzer. So what I use to set my under eyes and then like certain places is this brush by Farrah Cosmetics. It is the pressed powder 620F brush. So I'm just going to put this in to my palette and just kind of lightly go under my eyes and just, I do this mostly on parts of my face that I know might get ruined, so I don't necessarily do precise pressing of powder all over my skin. especially where my nose really needs it. Okay, so then once I have really hit all of those precise points of my skin, I take kind of like a bigger brush that's like a little bit fluffier, and this is what I do to kind of set my whole face, but it's kind of like in a more, it's not as concentrated. So I'm just gonna take this brush, dab it all the way in, and then just then the whole skin has been kind of set. So without making it look too greasy or cakey, now I have all that I need. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move into my eyes. That way I know, because I never really know too much of what I'm doing with my eyes. So I'm gonna go back in with my eyes, do those colors, and then I'm gonna move back into my face. So I'm gonna quickly kind of just like go through my brows because I'm not gonna do a whole video on brows until later. Okay, so now that my brows are done, I'm starting to look a little bit more human. I'm gonna go back into my face and I'm gonna go in with this. It is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. So I'm kind of focusing in on 2 eyeshadow palettes. I might bring in more because I have a lot, but the first one that I'm gonna use is one that I got for my birthday from my mom and my dad. It's called the Fade into Hue palette. It is just such a beautiful palette. I'm really going to look into like doing like a purple and maybe possibly green eyeshadow look. I don't know. So and then I'm going to be using the Mandalorian, which is also a gift from my family and my sister. So I'm not sure what to ever do, but here we go. I'm gonna go in first with this purple shade. So I'm taking kind of like a flat brush, and I might switch into something else later, but I'm gonna go in with the shade Majestic, this one right here. These eyeshadows are so pigmented, it is crazy. But I'm just gonna go in to like kind of like the outer portion and just dab that into place, kind of like this. Sometimes I create like, I go in with like a lighter color and sometimes I just don't. But this, I'm going to kind of push it outward because I do want a bit of a more dramatic purple vibe. And I know it's gonna look crazy, but you just have to trust the process. Then I'm going in with a more precise brush, and this one is BH Studio Pro 6, and I'm gonna go in with the shade Selfie. It is a lighter kind of color, and I'm just gonna take that and just kind of blend this part. So then I'm gonna take Express, which is this stunning kind of shimmery color, and I'm gonna place that right in the middle of my eyes. And like, don't judge me. I know that I have really bad brushes, but these are the ones that are like my ride or die brushes. I definitely do have a lot more, but these ones have always just, they've been my friends. And then before I go much further, I am going to pull out another palette that I have because I do want a more brighter kind of inside. So I'm gonna go in with another color palette, so don't kill me. But this one is also really awesome. And it is the Jaded palette. So I'm gonna go in with the color My Precious, and I'm just gonna take this same brush. Take the same brush, I'm gonna just kind of dust off the shimmer by using one of those eyeshadow removers for the brushes. So, and I'm gonna take this and I'm just going to gently kind of press it in. Okay, so then that is the top portion of my eyelids. So now to kind of like close in the gaps, I'm gonna go in with some greens. And I know that that's kind of a crazy color combination, but you'll see why I'm picking this. Well, I hope it works. So I'm gonna go with Bold Type from my, I'm gonna be probably dipping into Bold Type and maybe Pose? We'll see. I was gonna use my other palette, but I think that this kind of has more of what I was looking for. We'll see. Oh. I'm not crazy about it, so I am gonna go in with Babyface from the Yoda palette. Baby Yoda palette. And I'm just gonna kind of buff it in. Just gonna kind of bring it together. Then I'm gonna go into, yeah, I'm gonna do Pose. Pressing it together. You can kind of see what I'm doing, but I'm pressing this corner in. And because I'm never done, you can never have too much, I'm gonna go in with the color Opal, and it's really more of just like a shimmery shade, and I'm not gonna use all of this, but I am gonna just kind of like pat it in between my fingers, and I'm just gonna kind of dust it on top of that kind of like white shade that I had. So that gives it kind of like a really pretty, I'll take a closer up image of it. But what this does, it just gives it like a really pretty iridescent almost look to it. It's more meant to be just like a topper. Okay, so the eyeshadow look is complete. So now all that I have left is my eyeliner and my lashes. So I'm gonna kind of just like cut it here and then I'll be right back.
One eternity 30 later.
Okay, so I have my lashes on, my eyeliner. It's a little messy, so don't look too closely, but now I'm gonna move into the rest of my face, which is blush, bronzer, highlighter, and my lips. So for bronzer, I have been using this. It's just like, it just works for me. It's this very convenient palette that I have. And I do use the lighter shade, and then if I want like a more chiseled look, that's when I go into the darker shade. So I'm gonna take this brush right here, the fluffier end of it. It is the Complex Culture. It's like a blush, and it's like a blush slash contour brush, and then I'm just gonna take it, and this is really more so to just like warm up my face, just to make it look nice and awake. I do like these because it is a little bit warmer. It's not super cool, so it kind of does give you like a sun-kissed type of look, which I do like. And then my forehead, I have a very large forehead, so this definitely needs a little bit of warmth. Just like the difference of when you put bronzer on a big forehead is just insane. And then just to show you how I do a more chiseled look when I'm going in with my darker color, I'm gonna go in with, let's see, I'm gonna go in with this Ecos brush. See how it's a lot more angular and smaller? So this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to even make it a little bit more angled by just using kind of like this part of it. So then I go in from like right here. You can kind of like go like this, and you can kind of see like the line, but I just like to go in from here to here. I don't go all the way because I feel like sometimes it looks a little silly if you see like a line that goes all the way over. So see how that's a line? Then I'm just gonna use like the rest of the brush to blend it, so that way it doesn't look like a line. And then same kind of thing over here. Line. No line. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to use that same blush here. This is like one of my favorites though. It has like a marbleized kind of look to it on the pan. And then it's so pretty. It's just so pretty on the skin. And it works with like the powders because it's all kind of like meant to be used together. So this, I love blush so much. Okay, and so now for the most fun part, for me at least, is the highlight. So it is this highlighter brush by LaRousse. It's the LR308. And I'm just gonna go in with the color Gleam and coat it. And you're about to see how magical this product is. It is so beautiful. Kidding me? Kidding me? Ah, I love it. It's so pretty. like barely even need any because you look so glowy after. And then just kind of like highlighting parts of my face because I also just cannot get enough of this. I could do my whole face with this palette. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with my second favorite thing. My first favorite is the eyes, and now I'm gonna do my lips. So because I did kind of like a colorful eyeshadow look, I'm gonna go in now with something that's a little bit more neutral. So I'm gonna start off with my lip liners. And then I'm gonna go in actually with my Kylie Cosmetics Bare Velvet color. And then I'm not done. It takes me about like 50 different steps to do my lips sometimes. But I love this lip color. It's the Let's Cuddle by Dose of Colors. And the only way that I can really use this is by taking a very small amount. Sometimes I do it with a brush. I'm just gonna do it with my finger actually. And I take a very small amount, and it shows up a little bit darker on my finger, but on my lips it's like so light. So I'm just gonna kind of see how it's like so light on my lips? Oh, I have a dog underneath me. And then if I want to sometimes go back in with my Kylie, I do make sure that when I actually take like I'm actually gonna take some of this product on a brush because I don't want it to get messed up. And then I'm just gonna kind of, lips are like an art. All of them, all by themselves, you know? Okay, so this is kind of just how my look ended up looking like. I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!